What is up, world? Welcome back, Charge the Game podcast. And Anthony Edwards, we definitely have to talk. Before we even begin, man, I gotta give Draymond Green, aka Monkey Man. You guys know I'm not the biggest Draymond Green fan, but I gotta give this guy credit when credit is due. Draymond Green has miraculously turned into what Russell Westbrook has as far as his 3-point big shots. And you know, Steph Curry went out of the game. We're going to talk about that. But the moral of the story is Draymond Green's championship pedigree, Jimmy Butler's championship pedigree, that team culture is exactly why this may be far more challenging for the Minnesota Timberwolves without a Steph Curry in the lineup. Any game where you have Steph and Curry going and getting only 13 points, right? You got Jimmy Butler and Buddy Hield leading charge with 20 and 24. And then you have your man's Draymond Green, who, in my opinion, guys, has one of the best IQs in the game. I may not like some of the antics that he does, but Draymond Green can definitely see the floor. He puts players in positions. And even though Draymond Green is a headache, they know his value. He commands the troops. Anybody coming into that Warriors culture knows that Draymond Green is going to be up and at them if they aren't complying to the Warriors culture, which makes Stephen Wardell Carey's job a lot more easier. And what are the Warriors going to look like without Steph Curry in the lineup? Because he pulled a hamstring. You saw it right away. I mean, Steph Curry was grimacing. You saw him when he ran to the locker room. Draymond Green spoke in a post-game presser, and he just, he said Steph Curry ran by him and said, I'll be back, I'll be back. Well, unfortunately, a pulled hamstring is nothing to play with. In fact, this type of injury warrants weeks of recovery, and it can still linger. So I am going to be curious to see how the Warriors are going to be able to stay in the fight, against Minnesota Timberwolves, who have all of that length, who have all of that strength, who played a terrible game one. We're going to see how they match up, because there's no way that you can convincingly tell me that the Houston Rockets can take the Golden State Warriors to a game 7 and not expect the same thing with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, with Steph Curry out of the lineup, there is plenty of opportunity for the Minnesota Timberwolves to get this series done. But after what I saw last night, after how I saw the Minnesota Timberwolves coming out looking so damn lethargic, Steph Curry gets injured, goes to the locker room, and you can't even tell if the Warriors had an off game or an on game. Seriously, this is a hard series for me to choose the winner in, because I am a huge Anthony Edwards fan. And selfishly, I kind of want the Golden State Warriors to somehow end up competing for the Western Conference Final. Because I want Stephen Wardell Carey to get ring number 5 before LeBron James. There's no shame in me admitting that. And I'm also happy for Russell Westbrook. So in a weird way, I'm happy with the Minnesota Timberwolves, Golden State Warriors, or the Denver Nuggets coming out of the West, because I have key players that I root for, at least this season. But let's talk about Anthony Edwards, man. Anthony Edwards talked all of this trash about how he wanted the Warriors. When he has the cameras on him, when he's fresh off of a, 40-ball, 50-ball type game, Anthony Edwards does all of this talking. Regardless, Anthony Edwards talks. And I actually like that about Anthony Edwards. I'm not going to lie. But to talk the way that you were talking and not show up, I've never seen anything. What was going on? Like, Anthony Edwards couldn't buy a shot. What happened to Rudy Gobert, Rudy Wilt Chamberlain, whatever they were calling him? Julius Randle's doing these crazy passes. It's almost like, literally, like, dude, did somebody pay y'all to play like this? Because it was that bad. I understand butterflies, the moment being too big, and we know that the Minnesota Timberwolves are really a good road team. For some reason, they have these stinkers at home. We saw it last season when Luka Doncic put them out. But Anthony Edwards, man, the fan base, the organization looks at him to lead when they are struggling, guys. And we just didn't see Anthony Edwards get it going. But he went and did all this talking, and he got punched in the mouth. Now, see, I do have a problem with that, because this Minnesota Timberwolves has what it takes. This team has what it takes. Why didn't they take advantage of an old veteran team in the Golden State Warriors? We know that Steph Curry is God talent. He's out of this world talent, generational. We know that Draymond Green is going to use his antics. But what I will give Steve Kerr, man, he gets the absolute best out of his players. You see it with Buddy Hield. Buddy Hield out here, all teeth, splashing him. Dude is out here making a name for himself in the playoffs. And he's always been a decent shooter. That's the thing. Buddy Hield has always been a decent shooter. And one thing I like about Buddy Hield, he never loses his confidence. And you can tell that he wants to make the other guys happy by doing his job, staying ready. It just seems like Steve Kerr's rotations are always ready. And, you know, Minnesota Timberwolves, they got caught lacking. They got caught sleeping. They came out less aggressive. They came out just no energy in front of that crowd. And I think that, you know, this may be that one game, right? This may be the one game they look back on and wish that they would have got. But I do think in the next game, the Minnesota Timberwolves will handle business. The fan base is criticizing Anthony Edwards at this time, guys. And shout out to the head coach of the Minnesota Timberwolves for just coming out and saying this. It starts with Ant. I thought he struggled. And then you could just kind of see the light go out a little bit for a while. And that's exactly what I picked up, guys. And he's challenging Anthony Edwards because he knows that he knows that the other players rally around him. Anthony Edwards just kind of has like this energy source where there is smack talking, you know, big dunks and everything, man. Like Anthony Edwards should be ashamed of himself. And I'll be real with you guys. I turned the game off after the first quarter. I saw where it was going. It wasn't any need for me to stay up that late watching the game. Woke up and they lost just like I fell asleep thinking that they were going to do. But in these playoffs, there are teams that play better when they have momentum. You saw Golden State Warriors finish up a game 7 2-3 days ago. They come back with that fire still lit and they handle business and they secure home court with this one win, right? And then you see Anthony Edwards, who was well rested, team well rested, waiting on the next contender, the next opponent, and they show up flat. So we're going to take game one as a fill-out game. Maybe Anthony Edwards is going to bounce back, or maybe Steve Kerr will figure out how to keep Anthony Edwards in his own head and keep him from performing to the level that we know he can. So let me know what you guys think about game one. Golden State has taken the lead in the series, 1-0 in home court advantage. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Make sure you guys drop those comments. And also, guys, if you're new to the channel or returning, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Also, guys, make sure you like, share, and hit that notification bell for more future content. See you guys in the next one. Peace.